The slipping over and hurting yourself. Gets very muddy, so if you've not got a good sense of balance, you might slip over a few times.
Oh, the travelling. I'm quite a tall person. I don't do small cramped spaces for prolonged periods of time. We've definitely had some unfortunate things happen with our bus as well. So that's, yeah, I think it's just the travelling. There's not really a low point. It was just the most annoying bit. There's not really been a low point.
Very few, I think. Well, if any. For me, probably sitting on the bus, not being able to move for an extended period of time, in pain with my knee, thinking that I was getting quite old, but then to understand that most of the young people were also struggling in the same way. So yeah, positive from a negative, I suppose.
Very few. Some early mornings after long journeys is probably where I felt the lowest, and certainly some of the long travels on the journey on the buses has been uncomfortable.
So I really enjoyed the Maasai culture and learning about it. I think my only downside was the long coach trips to different points, as I feel like it sort of wasted a bit of time, and I would have liked to have fit more stuff in that we could have done in that time.
Probably going to the markets, but not the market itself. It's more a sense of you're walking one way and then the shopkeeper comes out and is like, oh yeah, come to my shop, and then you end up going that way and you're like, okay, let's go back out, and then you end up getting pulled into another shop, and by the end of it you've gone into 14 different shops and you're not even off the first aisle yet, and you're like, oh, I've got to go home, got to go back now.
Downside's probably getting sunburnt a lot. Yeah, getting sunburnt hurt a lot. Probably didn't help I didn't put a lot of sun cream on. So one day we went up to the market and we got these machetes, and then we came back and we weren't allowed to bring them home, which makes sense. We should have seen it, but yeah, our poor machetes left it around my house.
For me, I'm a bit accident prone, so there have been points there, and just at points lack of sleep and due to transport issues, but it's Kenya, you can't really help it.
The lack of showers at Harambee, definitely. Not seeing a lion on safari, but it's part of the experience, gives me reason to come back.
There wasn't any low points really. I enjoyed absolutely everything. However, if I had to say one, it's probably losing our drive shaft down the road. So, yeah, that was a bit of a day. That was.
Maasai not being quite what I expected, because I was expecting them to all live in mud huts, but they live in tin huts. I know that's not much different, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting. And not having a project to do for the Maasai, but I know that there is something in the pipeline which I'd love to be a part of.
I suppose really the downside has been the cleanliness and the hygiene side of it, because we're so used to having bathrooms, and out here there is nothing, so getting used to that took a bit of time, but yeah, we got used to it, so yeah, it was okay.
I wouldn't say I have a real low point. Certainly challenging at times, and I would say anyone coming here to look for the unexpected and accept it and embrace it, because you never know what next day is going to bring, but it's been wonderful.
Probably hygiene. A lot of issues with that, wouldn't want to repeat that. The other low point for me probably is the sad reality of the things are not the way you think, you know, particularly with the Maasai. I think that was quite a shock to see that they're nothing like we imagined. So they were probably the low points for me.
Just the bus really. Not just it breaking down, can live with that really, but it's hot, it's sweaty, it's close, and it's long bumpy roads, but you know, it is what it is.
We had a few issues with vehicles, but in a way that's all part of the experience. Yes, perhaps we could have done with some better washing facilities at both sites, but again, that's part of the experience and learning to cope.
Low points, I would definitely say not having a shower due to their showers being broken in some of the places. But this was easily rectified. As soon as you had a shower back at Wildebeest, you forget about it. So yeah, it was great.
So low points of the trip have been just the coach. Gabriel's a fantastic driver and he's been amazing, but the coach itself has been quite small. So if you're anyone that's got long legs, it's knackering on your knees. And some of the days we had really long, quite a lot of travel, and so that can be quite a slog. And when you have breakdowns and things like that, which is normal because the roads aren't fantastic here. There's lots of potholes and stones, and so things can go wrong. That can be draining, but this is Africa. This is what you deal with.
Yeah, my low points is probably the buses breaking down and the food at the Maasai tribe being just vice every day.
I think the long bus rides, there's a lot of travelling involved in this trip in Kenya. And personally for me, my knees were really struggling on the long journeys. So I had to sort of keep straightening my legs on the long journeys, which is quite painful on a busy, packed bus. But we got through it, and we got through all the bus breakdowns, and we got here, and every single painful knee joint was worth it to be here and with all these guys having fun.
When they told us to stop singing, when the bus had broken down for 15 hours and we were in the back and we were singing music, and then told us we had to stop.
When it rains, don't think you can stand in the rain for a couple minutes, because a light drizzle is going to turn into more than a downpour very quickly, as I learned one day.
Mosquitoes. I have been itching myself quite a lot. I've got something like 15 bites. So
very honest.
Bring bug spray and spray it.
A downside for me was the Maasai tribe eating their food. Took me a while to get used to it because it's not what I'd normally eat. But other than that, good trip.
The bugs, especially at the Maasai, just flies everywhere all of the time on. It's annoying.
The sun, very hot. If you don't wear sun cream, you're gonna burn.
The food at Harambee was questionable at best. We don't talk about the burnt jacket potatoes, but other than that, it was very positive.
Long travel days. I think that was it. Just being cramped on the bus for long periods of time, but